Hey guys, I know we haven't done one of these in a while, but I do need to warn you a little bit about this week's episode. Due to some technical difficulties with the internet and connecting to Discord, the audio is a little strange starting out. And there might be some weird editing that had to happen to make everything feel cohesive. So for the first 20-ish minutes or so, it might sound a little off, not quite right, but soldier through it, it'll be okay, I promise. And of course, enjoy the show. Hello and everyone, welcome to Next to Nothing, the podcast where we talk about how to waste your time and not your money in gaming. Ren looks like he's really interested. Let's listen in.
You had?
Oh, dude,
So,
Friday
like-
streamers will love that. Like, it's, you know what I
Right?
mean? Like,
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. This is amazing.
Hey guys.
Like, oh,
Hey
hello.
there.
Sorry, I'm not talking to anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
nothing going on here. Nothing going on here.
I was really hoping I was going to catch you guys in something incriminating.
What? No, nothing.
You're like 15 seconds
Burn
off
the
from that.
body.
You're totally
Damn
good.
it. Damn it.
Oh, man.
So,
Shut
yeah, just, good thing you didn't hear about my maid costume.
Oh, my God.
That was pre-show stuff. Come on now.
So, like I said, welcome to Next to Nothing, the show where we talk about where to waste your time and not your money in gaming. I am one of your hosts, Danny K. With me, I have my co-host, Ren.
Hi, I'm Ren. I'm bad at games and stuff. Hi, hello. How's it going? Hope you're great.
And with us, we have our handsome guest, GamerGreggie. How's it going, Greg?
Hey, everybody. Good to see everyone here tonight. Now, as he said handsome, like I groomed the beard, looking good. Things are good, my friend. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. How is your guys' like the start of your guys' week so far? Just
It's been good. Because I had the 24-hour on Saturday, I've still been like, my voice is not here.
Yeah.
So I might sound a little monotone. But aside from that, I'm great. I'm good. Having a good day. Can't complain.
Yeah, so far for me, nothing's broken. Kind of actually extended my streams out a little bit now, so I'm sleep schedule-wise getting used to that. But no, I mean, seriously, no complaints. I mean, Monday wasn't even bad for a Monday, and it's Taco Tuesday as far as I'm concerned. So
Exactly, dude.
yeah. You guys getting any weather at all? You guys getting like this nasty like icy rain and winter blech?
We're getting a lot of rain, which
Yeah.
is seems good because now not everything's on fire, so that's cool. But I mean, now everything is just flooding. So you know, I guess we get to pick our poison. That's basically it.
You can either
meanwhile, I was gonna say, meanwhile, I'm over here on the East Coast, freezing my feet off right now. It's been we kind of dodged it as far as like the snow because it got really warm. So imagine it's like 50 degrees out, it's rain, there's snow north of us, but like, it's great. The rain dries up, and then the next morning it's 7 degrees Fahrenheit out. And it's like, oh my gosh, what happened? And it's that usual yearly thing when you live around here. You walk outside and you question, like, my face hurts. Why do I live here?
why do I live in a place where my face hurts?
Exactly.
We got like some like freezing drizzle rain this morning,
Okay.
and now we just started getting snow in my part of the state. Somebody was just saying that who lives in a different part of my state, saying they didn't get hit by snow, which I gotta say, Broken, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Just getting on. We're not getting like dumped on, but it's more than we've had so far this year. So, yeah, it's kind of the perfect time to just stay in, not go out, and play some. And it's time to play some video games, which we're gonna help you guys out with that. So it's been kind of a slow like gaming news week, but we've played some games. Games. So let's start with that. Ren, do you want to start with Hob, or do you want us to start with Ring? Up to you.
You guys can start with Ring first. I got Hob in a second.
Okay. So me and Greg are both Ring of Elysium players, and they recently came out with a new update. Season 2, I guess, is what they're calling it. But it also came out with a new map. So the new map, instead of being in a frozen, desolate wasteland of death, you are in a Mount Vesuvius kind of situation where volcano has erupted, and the ash and fire and death is about to suffocate you all. So, of course, what do? You pick up guns and kill each other for 4 spots on a helicopter.
Yeah.
California Simulator. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, that sounds about right from what I've heard so far. So now, instead of they've included a couple different updates, but yeah, so now it's a little bit more easy to spot everybody because it's not all white.
Yeah.
Not everyone just pops against white anymore. I guess you can kind of hide in green if you have any green stuff. So that's something.
Train's also flatter too. I mean, it's definitely has a completely different feel.
Yeah, the game does have a different feel, and with that different feel, they made some changes to the equipment. So in season 1, there was the hang glider, which they kept. They kept the glider, but they also had a snowboard and a climbing kit that had a rappel kit or zip line. Sorry. Now instead of a snowboard, they have a BMX bike, and instead of the climbing and zipline kit, they have a grappling hook, which Craig is excited about. Which I think it's a better tool than the climbing kit. Another thing that they did was that there's no difference in the amount of space that one person has in their backpack. It's all even now based on your kit.
Okay.
So no matter what weapon, or I'm sorry, no matter what loadout you choose to start out with, you get the same amount of space in your backpack. Let's see, what else was I going to mention? They added, I think they've added only one new gun. Greg, you might want to check me on that. They've added an LMG.
PKM,
PKM,
right?
yeah. It's an LMG, shoots 7.6, which is the same ammo as the Mosin and the AK, and the G28. So that's kind of it that they've included as far as I'm aware. There's more boats, because this map is more island-like. It's more of an archipelago, with some like straits and some canals that you can that you have to go across. There's some bridges, but I haven't really used the bridges because bridges are death. I mean, it's a straight. Bridges
That's
are
like
just
that's a BR rule right there. Bridges are death.
bridges are death. That's just a tactical rule for anything. First-person shooters, bridges are death.
Driving. Bridges are dead.
Driving.
Might as well just drive off now.
I was gonna say there is a new dynamic with the boats though, because, and I'm not naming any names here for anyone be hanging out from Team Greg here, but when you have 2 islands really close together on a bridge and there's like 3 teams shooting across at each other, pro tip here: the one thing you don't want to do is have all your squad in a boat and just slide right into the middle between the bridge. Or next thing you know, you're under fire from 3 directions and you're not even on the bridge.
The person just calls himself out in your chat.
Just all that. I can try not to crack up. He did, and I'll tell you, it wasn't just like oops. It was just like, we're rolling in here like a couple bosses. Like, here we go. Look out, 3 other teams in a gunfight. Here we come.
You just got NWA blasting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I think the update is good for the most part. I like the grapple hook. So the grapple hook, basically the way it works, the way I describe it is, if you're not a weeb, Spider-Man. Basically think Spider-Man. If you are a weeb, Attack on Titan.
Okay.
It's basic. It works more like Attack on Titan because you know, it's like at the waist, and listen, all I want to do is just scream with some sort of weird X-Acto blade sword while slicing through a giant's neck. All right, that's all I want to do in this game now. Give me.
Next patch.
Giants that eat everybody, and I get a slice through their necks with a weird X-Acto knife. But But yeah, that's how it works. You aim, you hit a button, which so I believe the button is, what is that? E? Yeah, I want to say it's E. And everything you do to like pick things up or interact with like doors or whatever is F. I find myself constantly hitting the grapple hook on accident. I don't know why. Why my pointer. I'm looking at my keyboard right now. I don't know why my pointer just kind of seems to do that. But
yeah, I mean, it's far enough away. I think that must be more like a muscle memory or some other games being triggered. Because everyone did the same thing. We all just kind of like quietly just like looking at the keyboard, like,
yeah.
Yeah.
The grapple hook. There's a couple ways. There's a couple things that are also notable about it. You only have 3 charges, but it recharges after 20 seconds. And then you can be attached to a spot. You can be anchored to a point with it, but that only lasts for maybe, I want to say like 30 seconds.
Yeah, somewhere around. I mean, it's a pretty significant amount of time. It's not like you grapple up and you fall off immediately.
Which I will say makes for some interesting gameplay because it introduces a different kind of verticality that this game didn't have already. The verticality this game had with the glider was that I could easily get onto the roof that's above you, or I can move to a different roof, or if I have an SMG or a handgun and I'm a crack shot, I can shoot you from my glider with that, or from climbing or something like that. Like, there's that verticality there. This, I mean, when you can anchor yourself to a ceiling, and you can. People making Spider Danny memes in the chat.
They've seen you at work.
They have seen me at work. So the general, like the verticality in the buildings themselves now is really interesting. And I've had it happen where like I've walked into a room and somebody was above in the ceiling looking down and got me. I've had a couple of times where I've able to kind of like, where I've been able to get a nice, good kill, mostly in trees because you can kind of hide yourself and you can make yourself a little deer stand type of situation where if you go up the middle of a tree with the grapple or with the hook and then looking straight at the tree, you jump and you let it fall down, you'll be stuck there for a little bit. Now, if you move from that spot, you're going to fall and take damage. But you can actually hang out there indefinitely, and if you have a scope on your gun, you're in a decent place where the leaves aren't going to bother you. You can actually snipe people from that position, and that's a trick I learned from the Lone Spirit. So yeah, that's kind of the BMX bike is basically just the shit, the snowboard. Sorry, I got distracted. I'm making sure that everything is running. Greggie, give your thoughts on it.
Oh gosh, I mean, just on the kits alone, it's one of the things where like I think a lot of it's broken, but I don't know if I want them to fix it, if that makes any sense. So, all right, the glider on this map I think is a complete throwaway. I can't see any reason you want the glider over the grappling hook because, like you were saying, with the town-to-town combat. With the glider, you can pick one. You can glide into the 3rd floor of the building across the street, or the 1st floor, you're done. The grappling hook, people hear the noise, you land on the 1st floor, a couple shots in the window, guy comes running down after you, grapple up to the 2nd, and you flank him, right? Just it's way more functional. And the map's so flat that the first map, the glider, you could really travel. You get to a high point and glide in the zone, like that's completely gone. So, like I feel like the glider was neglected with this update because I just don't see a reason for it. The grappling hook is definitely OP. I mean, the fact that you can fly, that guy's in the 3rd floor and just grapple hook right from the ground into the ceiling, turn down and shoot him. Like that's like Mission Impossible / Matrix stuff, I don't know if they should either maybe limit the number of times you could use it per match versus a cooldown. Like maybe give you 5 hooks, but that's all you get, and you have to run around and pick them up if that's your kit or something. Like it needs some kind of nerf. But I'm not saying I want them to do it because I have fun tooling around with the grappling hook. And then the same thing with the bike. Like the bike is great because if I have the bike equipped, and, if you're playing squash off your bike, you never have to worry about vehicle or zone. You get on there, you go on 50 kilometers an hour, and you have no worry. So it takes the whole like the dramatic like, oh gosh, we have to get in a zone. Like that's just completely out of the picture. I think it's great, but again, they should probably nerf the speed on it somewhat. Like you shouldn't be almost as fast as a car pulling out your bike.
Yeah.
You know? So I do like the new map. I just feel like the kits are just they're just they're OP. I don't know how to say it. They're just OP. But it's kind of like and that's the game we're talking about later, Warframe. Like it's one of the things where it's like
it's a good OP. It's not necessarily a
Yeah.
bad one. I was actually going to voice my opinion kind of on this a little bit, but you were saying that it might need a nerf. I was thinking more along the lines of what if everything else got, a little bit of that bump. I know it kind of like opened up to that power creep sort of feel, where it's like everything's just going to get more and more ridiculous. But at the same time, like when I'm hearing about the grappling hook and being able to do all these crazy things, it's just like, oh man, dude, imagine if you could do other things with other like equipment tools. Like, might not be anywhere similar to that, but like, that'd be pretty cool. The grappling hook idea, I think, is super unique, and I was even gonna say, like, it makes it. Oh, I'm cutting out. You can go ahead and talk then. In that case, I'll wait. I'll chill.
Well, I think both of you guys are a little on the robotic side. I think it's more on my side than anything else. So you can go ahead and continue. I'm trying to figure stuff
right
out.
now, you're not cutting out on my end, if that helps.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right,
it's
cool.
on me.
Cool.
I'm a streamer.
It's all good. Things happen. But basically what I was gonna say is that all of the game, like, that just sounds like a really unique way to take the gameplay, and it just further differentiates it from like PUBG. And I'm totally down for that idea, for sure. I think that's a great idea.
I just hope every season they change it. Like I don't want them to get stale.
Yes.
We're like, hey, the grappling hook's it, and that's it. Like I'm looking forward to every season being different kits, and then season 5, oh, the grappling hook's back, and creates a big stir, that kind of thing. That keeps it fresh, and keeps people, certain folks from getting to that god tier level with it, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. No, I can totally understand that. I just think it's like a really unique way of like taking it, and for like an experimental thing to like test is what I'm assuming that is, because this is still a beta game. So
it's an impressive beta game. I played it when I played it I think 2 days after public alpha, beta, whatever you call, and it was so rough. I mean, it didn't even have a full screen mode. There was input lag out the wazoo and everything. And it feels like the opposite of PUBG. Like I feel like they actually care about this game.
Yeah.
And it gets better every day.
I totally understand that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's just really neat to like see them take a unique like approach to it. Versus I felt like a lot of the other things were like fairly straightforward. And like that's cool. And it's a great starting point, but like when you throw in like an equipment that does a bunch of different things and it really lets like the player decide how he wants to use it, I think that's great. I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Basically, I thought that was super cool. That's basically all I'm trying to say. Grappling hook sounds dope.
Danny, I don't want to get too far ahead. Do you want to? Are you looking to talk about the map and the actual like the layout and stuff next?
Well, actually, I'm kind of considering for just a quick second if we can't end the call and bring the call back for the sake of seeing if that'll help audio. Because you guys are very robotic and kind of not good.
Yeah, we can do that. No problem.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, map layout and stuff. How are you feeling about the way the map is set up? Because you mentioned earlier that the glider is just a total waste, basically.
Yeah. So overall, it's better than the first map. I like. It's not that I don't miss the first map, but it's a better map for the game. Because one of the things with the first map, especially like playing solos, if you're streaming it or whatever have you, is that you could be trying for a hot spawn point and still have trouble running into people. So this map feels a little smaller, and I feel like there's a lot more action because of it. It just gives the game a better vibe to it, and I feel like when you're going to zone, you're much more likely to run into trouble versus the other one. You could be gliding for 5 minutes and slide in and just see nothing, not even be able to find someone if you're trying to get them. And then there's like little tweaks to things like, okay, you go, okay, they have a smaller map and the storm's now lava. But there's some tweaks with that now as far as, when you're waiting for the helicopter and they drop the ladder, and if you wait till that final storm kicks in, with the snow, like the visibility was reduced, we could kind of see. With the ash, you see nothing.
Yeah.
So it completely changes the dynamic of that. And I feel like people rush the helicopter a bit more, and there's a little less, picking people off the end. Because I know on the snow map, there'd be 2 spots left, 2 people in 2 different teams, and you never get that compromise. Like, it looked like there was like a handshake that would go on. Somebody would go up the ladder, and the other guy would just shoot them and climb up.
Mm-hmm.
Worst of humanity, if you will. But I feel like because of that, the chopper scenarios play a little different. And again, the lack of elevation. You can have people coming from all different angles towards that chopper, and more often than not, there's no significant height advantage. Where in the first map, there's a lot of times the glider, I'm just like, oh, the helicopter's down there. Take a couple people off and then just glide straight down towards it. So, no, I'm really liking the new map. I think it has improved the game. There's some things about it that would like finding a way to make the glider more useful, like, or come up with a third kit might be nice. But yeah, I mean, just one versus the other, the new map's better for sure. Looks better too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like the look of it a lot. My only complaint really about the new map is mostly there's kind of like a how do I say this? I think it has a lot of the same problems that H1Z1 had in their Battle Royale mode, where you spend more time running from the circle or from the environment than you do actually fighting other people. The other map didn't have that problem. Like, we've actually had it be where, because of how many waterways there are, if it starts going towards the more watery part of the map, you can get easily screwed.
Yes, I've been on the receiving end of that firsthand, especially once that storm hits, and because of that visibility thing we were talking about, and you're trying to like get the boat out of the harbor to swing around the map, and you can't see where you're going, and yeah, that part is 100% true. It's more challenging that way.
I really hate to do this right now, but we're still having audio problems or connection problems, it seems.
Okay.
Can we take a minute and let me reset my router and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely.
And see if that helps. So right here's where we made the cut, and I just wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know about a way you could help support the show. If you didn't know, we are Humble Bundle affiliates, which means if you go down to the podcast description down below, you can go to the Humble Bundle store. And by using that link, a portion of your purchase will come to us, as well as to a charity, which right now we have it set as the American Red Cross. It's a wonderful way to help do some good in the world, as well as helping us over here at the Next to Nothing podcast. So if you are so inclined, feel free to use our Humble Bundle affiliate link, like I said, right down below in the description of this podcast. And enjoy the rest of the show. Discord server, all that good shit. I just cannot continue listening to you guys in a robotic voice that way. So,
are we better now though? That's the real question.
Yeah, you guys are better now, and I'm gonna go ahead and just
easy, dude.
To be like easy on my system or on my systems.
Okay.
I'm not gonna show any video. So
we're just us. Oh,
just
man.
us.
Oh man.
You guys have to look at our beautiful faces. All right.
I don't want to see that. Minimized.
Might as well close me out. The stream's over.
You know what? If you find us to be repulsive, but you like our opinions, I have a solution for you. I have a solution.
Oh,
go to Spotify, go to the search bar, and type in the Next to Nothing podcast. And you guys can follow us there and listen to us and not have to see our repulsive faces. Pretty easy. All right. So
man.
we were like in the middle of row. We were talking about the layout. I don't know how much we really want to necessarily go back into row, or if we just want to move on.
I had a few questions just because I haven't played it.
Yeah.
So is it like an entire Is the other map still there? Can you choose between maps, or
No,
is it just like you're on this map now?
They just have that map for that season, which I think is good because I think if they offered multiple maps, I don't know what the player base is like, but then that's when games start having matchmaking stuff. So I'm happy that they just have the one and just do it by season.
You know what?
Okay. All right.
You actually just changed my mind with that one sentence because that was one of my bitches. Was that I'm like, why you had this entire map? Why not just keep it? Why not just have it as a selection? But you're right. I guess it would cause a player split in the player base.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you that it's low enough that. So last night when I was playing, I was doing solos, right? And everyone hanging out didn't want me to do solos. But I'm like, nah, guys, I want to do solos for the night. So like 5 or 6 folks made it a point to stream snipe me. Over and over. So they kept loading. I mean, in all good and good fun, of course.
Yeah.
But they had no problem getting in the same match as me every time.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that if they split it with the 2 maps, you might have, because I know with the original map they did have some bots running around. So I don't know if the base is quite large enough yet for it. So I mean, if they could do it, great. But I would take a full lobby over the map split any day.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead. No,
I was gonna say, Greggie, did you get your hands on the event mode? Because somebody was telling me about the event mode, and I haven't been able to try it out at all.
Didn't, because they had. Remember the first one they had with the storms coming, get in at night. They only did it for certain hours of the day, and it was always when I was busy and couldn't touch it, or like I was involved in other games. So I never got to see it. The trailer looks so cool, and nothing.
Yeah, that was a thing I noticed too. Yeah, Ren, what were you going to say?
I was basically going to say, so essentially, are they going to do, like, I'm wondering if they're just going to keep this map for, like, spring and summer, and they're going to swap back for, like, fall and winter to the other map, if that's going to be, like, how they're going to do it. Because there's no way that they just, like, get rid of the map, obviously. They're going to have, like, some sort of way to, like, recycle maps, so that way you can keep it fresh. But I was more so thinking, like, do you think that they're going to do, like, once for every like 2 actual seasons, or like maybe they have other plans? Do you think that they might have other plans to like do other seasonal ones just in general? So like this one is a fairly like spring, it looks like spring, realistically. It looks like a spring map. So like seeing like a fall map where it's like a lot of reds and things like that'd be really interesting.
That would be cool.
Like that's more so what I was thinking about. Like if you think that they might go down that path, that'd be a really interesting thing that I'd think about, at least.
Well, I mean, as long as they rotate it often enough. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, so that you're not longing for that one map too long and that you can't get back to it.
Yeah.
But look at Fortnite. I mean, Fortnite keeps it really simple. They have their seasons, and they just take that same map and they tweak a bunch of stuff, and they say, here's your one map. So, I mean, even for a game with that kind of player count, they're doing a similar thing. Sometimes that I think it's better to keep it simple in that regard,
Yeah.
Because everyone's talking about the same thing. Everyone's talking about that they can't see the ladder in the storm now, or hey, look at me doing this grappling hook stuff. Like I think even from a marketing standpoint, it's cool to have everyone on the same page experiencing the same things.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree.
Yeah,
that'd just be really cool though. I'd love to see an autumn map. That'd be sick.
Yeah,
that's all I'm thinking.
So
need a new video card, all the leaves falling and stuff. I can see this now.
Oh, hell yeah! Oh
so
my God.
You killed one of my complaints. Another one of my complaints. Now this, I don't know if this is a nitpick or if this is just a complaint about the functionality of the grappling hook. But say you have a 2-story building, okay, and you want to grapple, and you want to try to grapple through a window because you can grapple through the windows. Let's say you miss it by, I don't know, an inch, and you're just like right under the window. In any other circumstance, it would let you climb into the window when you hit space. When you hit space, you vault into the window or climb in through the window, depending on where you're at.
Right.
It does not do that when you are on the grappling hook.
No,
you jump. You jump and you fall, and you have to like, yeah.
100% agree. It's a genuine issue.
Like that is such a functional like mishap. It is such a bullshit like thing. It really I can't like explain. It is so annoying because you want to try to go through that fucking window. The whole point of you getting up to that point was to go through the fucking window. And in every other circumstance, with a window where you press space, you go through the window.
Nope, not this one. It drops you back, and you know what? That's gotten me killed before. It drops you back, and then you remantle over the window, and somebody's waiting in the room because they heard your grappling hook, but they've had time to respawn now. Because you're not.
Yeah.
If you missed, it goes from being a really slick move to very clumsy. Very quickly.
Yeah. So it was one of my big that's like my biggest bitch about this update. How do you like the PKM? Have you gotten your hands on it at all?
I liked it as far as getting the challenge done. That's about it.
Yeah.
I want no parts of it otherwise. There was another, I don't know if it was with this patch or if it was right before it. They changed the AK. So the AK-47 has a lot less kick now, and it has similar stopping power to that PKM, at least from when I'm handling it. So again, it's like one of those just like killing them, like fun kind of things. But as far as wanting to use it to be good, no, it's a cool that the gun's there, but you'll curse it if you use it for a while. And you can't put any attachments on it. You can't put a sight on it or anything fun.
And the fucking model is huge. Holy cow. It's like, in like, that would be a gun that you would benefit from having a red dot, because the model is, like, the iron sights in the model are just massive.
Yep. Absolutely.
It is so ridiculous how big that gun is. Trying to aim down sights with that gun is nearly impossible.
I wish it was a lot more rare, and then maybe it was in drops only, and then to balance that out, have it have more stopping power for how much kick it has. Like if you land a couple of shots, they drop or something. Because right now, on top of just trying to control it, I don't know what the actual stats are, but from what I can feel, it doesn't have any stopping power advantage over a Groza or an AK or any other 7.62 round. There's nothing significant about it other than you're just like all over the place trying to control the thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I used it for the challenges because the weeklies or whatever they are, and after that, I just avoid it entirely.
So I mean, I think we kind of covered everything with this update. Next update, what do you think? What are you hoping to see, Greggie?
Well, past couple patches, they've been working on optimization, so I hope they continue down that path.
Oh yeah,
because they did an optimization patch right before this came out, and suddenly the first map was like smooth as butter, and then the second map came out and has more
foliage.
Foliage. There you go, exactly. And it's like, oh no, my frame rate dropped again. So I'm hoping that, and then I don't see it as much with this map, but there's still some map train optimization for. Kind of like what you said, the grappling hook, right? You go to hop over a window. Same thing. Like there's certain things you go, oh, I should be able to climb that, and I can't. Or I'm just trying to jump from this part of the roof to the other roof. And the last 2 times I did it, no problem. This time I have to try 6 or 7 times to get it to register right. Like there's still stuff like that. I want to see that versus new content. I always like it when they polish what they have before they move on further. But again, they really seem like they like this game, so they're doing both. Fingers crossed it continues.
With that, anything else you guys want to mention about Ring of Elysium?
It's free and I love it.
Yeah, pick it up.
Pretty.
We've talked about it before. We're just talking about an update at this point.
I loves it.
Speaking of pretty, Ren, you played a really pretty game.
Yeah. So the other, I believe it was Saturday, Thursday, and Wednesday, I believe. I played a game called Hob. It's a nice little. It's like an action adventure game. It was really cool. Basically, you play a silent protagonist character, and you start off in this world, and you don't really know what exactly is going on. It's a very pretty environment. It's very contrast based, where it's a lot of very green greens and blue blues and stuff like that. And I had a blast with it. It's a lot more difficult to talk about when I don't actually have a visual to just go look at this. Basically, so you play this game as a silent character, and you kind of have to figure out everything on your own. There's no real guides to figure out anything out realistically. Any of the characters that you talk to, they talk in their own language, between the character and whoever you talk to, which is just robots for the most part. I never ran into anything else that you talk to, but you get the choice to just talk to random robots. You'll never understand what they're saying, but they'll point to like certain areas off in the distance, and you'll see like a giant like robo city, and you're just like, what is that? You want me to go there? Okay. And then like, how do I get there? How? And you're just kind of like, okay, so I guess I'm gonna go explore the world. And a lot of what you learn about the game is through environmental storytelling, where like initially you just think you're just a random character that's out in the middle of nowhere, and there's stuff that you occasionally move around, and then you'll run across like a creature that looks oddly like a giraffe, and you're just like, wow, that's really cool. And little do you know, there's like a purple plant that's just hanging out right above you, and it rips your arm off. And then you're just dying. You're dying right there. And you're just like, what do I do? Like, your arm is infected. It's not ripped off yet, but your arm is infected, and you're just like, I don't know what's happening. Okay. And then a robot comes over, and you're just like, buddy, save me. And then what he does is he just chops your arm off right then and there. And then like just takes you back home. What? And then you wake up and you have a robot arm, and you're just like, what just happened?
This game sounds so cute and mysterious, and it just went whoosh, off the deep end into like freaky.
That's exactly how the game is. It honestly is exactly like that. That's why it's so difficult to really talk about without a visual. But so you wake up and you have this robot arm, and this is super early on into the game, so I see you kids, no spoilers here. You wake up with the robot arm, and you're just like, I don't know what happened, and you leave and you go back down the same-ish path, and you find the robot again, but he's missing his arm. He actually gave you his arm and attached it to you, and now you have that. And that's like the big reason why you need to like be the one that goes exploring, for my understanding. I don't know, it's kind of hard to like figure out based on a game that literally doesn't tell you anything. There's no words. But essentially you're trying to go from place to place and stop whatever just ripped your arm off. Realistically, that's kind of how it goes. And then like later on towards the thing, you actually figure out what's happening. Not gonna go there. But it's very graphically driven for the most part. The action's okay. It's not like absolutely amazing gameplay, but it's fun. It's definitely not anything like bad by any means. It reminded me a lot of Hollow Knight, in the way that Hollow Knight took the way its gameplay, where it's like the gameplay is relatively simplistic, but it's solid. It's solid gameplay, and it's much more focused on the environmental storytelling, and like what you see and how you perceive it as like what you're going to be doing. Because for the longest time, I had one view of like what this game was like, and at the very end, it was like, all that's wrong. You're wrong. You're close, but wrong. It's this, and you're just like, oh, that makes sense. Oh my god. So yeah, it's again really difficult to describe without a way of showing you.
Yeah,
but it's super graphically driven. It's a great game. I had a fun time with it. That being said, there are issues, and a lot of it does come with it being a silent game, where like nobody really talks to you, and sometimes the directions are super vague, and you don't realistically know what's happening. There's been, I think, 3 times where I genuinely had no clue what was going on, and I had to actually go check a walkthrough and go see. And even in the walkthrough, it was hard to figure out like what I needed to do specifically. So at some point you gather like these power cores to go power something up, and you need 4 total, and you end up getting 3, and then you go put them in, and it gives you directions to go to each one, and you're like, okay, this is fine.
Right.
And on the 4th one, there isn't one. There's no direction whatsoever, and you're just like, what do I do? And you only find these power cores in very specific things, and you could see them on the map. And you're just like, okay, well, obviously I'm missing a 4th giant thing on the map. Maybe I haven't discovered it, so I'm checking the map. I can't find it to save my life. Turns out, goddamn nature's making a power core, and it's waiting for me on like the top of a mountain. And I'm just like, I didn't get any of these fucking things from nature. I got literally none of these from nature. What do you mean? And I'm like, I can't believe this. I can't believe that this is like how I missed it. I was losing my mind on that. That one
I'm just visualizing this
Definitely
cute
made
little
me
robot
peeve.
being like pointing at a mountain 20 miles away. Like, beep, beep.
Pretty much, pretty much. But yeah, there was no actual direction to that. But if you really do pay attention to it a lot, and you're just like, wait a minute. So essentially, every time that you cure these areas of this certain type of blight, the thing that infected you, there'll be like little creatures that are there now, and they're like little pure creatures of like sunshine and rainbows. That's how I'm gonna just describe it. I'm sure there's other ways of describing it, but you go up to this mountain and you'll notice that there's a certain amount there, and they're on these little pedestals. And I didn't notice the pedestals at all because I thought they were just like little ambient, like essentially ambient noise, and they were just kind of there just to be there. And I was like, okay. And I was like, wait a minute, one of these isn't on a pedestal. Hold on. And I had to go check the map and then find out what I missed. And then I had to do that, go back. And then you have to wait for a period of time for like the gods to rain upon you this goddamn battery. And you're just all like, okay, I'm a little tilted right now, but this is fine. Aside from it being big at times, because it definitely is, I had a good time with the game. I really did. It was fun. It's a great time if you're either into Metroidvanias or action adventure. Hollow Knight and that really like had similarities to me. And Hollow Knight's one of my favorite games of all time. That just straight up like that's by far like one of my favorite Metroidvanias ever. So like having it up there on that list is good. It's definitely good. There were just some nuances where I was a little peeved for sure. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Just can you give a quick little rundown of the combat? Just how the combat works for this game?
There is a dodge roll. There's so you can actually punch people with your robot arm. There's unlockables towards like special attacks that you can do because it is based on like Metroidvania style gameplay. So you do end up finding unlocks that make you play in a different way over time. Essentially at the start, it's just a sword and dodging. That's what it is initially. And you can realistically get through the entire game with just like doing that if you wanted to. But like you can use certain attacks, like if you use your power fist and just slam some dude, you'll either end up like doing massive damage or maybe stunning them for a period of time. There's certain enemies that have armor and you can only like fight them if you rip it off. But yeah, it's a fun game. The combat starts very simple and it gets more and more complex over time, but it still keeps that main simplicity of like how you actually play it.
Does it guide you with that part at all? Because you were saying it was very vague. Like, how do you figure out the combat and these moves and things like that?
So the vague points happen very like sporadically in it. Okay. So like for the most part, at the start, you're fairly well guided. You might get a little bit lost from time to time, but at the start, it's more about exploration than anything. You're just trying to figure out your environment. That's kind of like how Metroidvanias do their thing in the first place. And it's not so bad if you get lost. It realistically isn't. You'll probably find upgrades, and then you'll be like, "Oh, okay, I got upgrades. I got better things. Now I can go to like the place I actually need to go." The vagueness more so comes from backtracking. That's realistically what it comes to, and it's just that part's a little bit disheartening. But as long as you're not backtracking, I think you'll be okay. The combat's fairly intuitive. It's not really that like difficult to like get a grasp on. You'll run into like even if you wanted to, you could test your weapons on like little woodland critters. You don't have to by any means. But if you really just like, I don't know how this combat works. Oh, look, a squirrel.
Poor squirrel.
You
massive robot punch.
Oh man, but yeah, because the combat starts so simple, it's really it's hard not to get the grasp on it. That being said, it's one of those games where it's meant to be played with a controller, and you'll see that a lot with most Metroidvanias or like things like it. So like Dead Cells, obviously Hollow Knight. They all have that need of like you need a controller, or it's probably not going to feel so great. I didn't try it with just PC controls. But with a controller, it felt totally fine. I didn't realistically have any issues with it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So this is for PS4 and Windows. It's currently on Steam for $20.
Mm-hmm. I could see it getting on a lot of other platforms. I could definitely see this being on Switch.
Well, its initial release date was September 26th, 2017. So it's been out for a little while, for a little over a year now. Do you think that the $20 is still a pretty good deal, or do you think for the vast majority of people this is maybe a sit on it kind of thing?
If it's $15, I'd buy it. If it was 15, I would say yes. 20, I'm like, I don't know about that one so much. I actually got it through Discord Nitro. That was how I got it. So I got to play it for free for a month. And
nice.
Yeah, and I thought it was definitely worth that kind of price. And it kind of brings up a few issues that I had with Discord's like store a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Namely, its controller support was very funky. Like, it was very, very weird. I have a PS4, and normally what I do is I'll connect like a USB cord to my computer, and I'll use my PS4 controller, just because it's like lighter than like my other really like janky controllers, and I'm just like, I don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, with Discord, that didn't seem to work. I don't know if it was just on my end or if it was an actual Discord issue. So I had to go like find a separate controller that I just had in like my closet somewhere and use that. That was really weird. It has not like the worst launch options. I wasn't sure if this was from Hub or from Discord itself, but like it immediately started up launch options for the game when I tried to launch it, and I was like, this is strange. I just wanted to play the game. I just wanted to hop into it. But it's like super simplistic stuff, like what display do you want to play it on? Do you want to play it on full screen window, blah blah blah, quality settings, stuff like that. So I wasn't sure if that was the game itself or not. It was minor gripes. Aside from that, it seemed fine. Like I didn't feel any intrusions from Discord at all while I was playing it. There was nothing like, there was no overlay or anything. I felt fine. That was just like the really weird thing was the controller issue.
Yeah, didn't they actually, because Steam handles the controller compatibility, right? Because it wasn't like, because like the DualShock support was something added to Steam that then gets translated at the Steam level of games, right? So maybe Discord's just not there yet. I'm resisting the urge while we're chatting. I'm like, oh look, the store icon. I know I got it free for like I think I got it free for a year because I was a Nitro subscriber to begin with. I'm like, don't click.
I don't know, because it even markets itself as having full controller support on the Discord page. That was the part that really caught me off guard, because I was like, okay, I would understand it if it didn't say it had controller support, and like maybe Discord's not there yet, but I think it might be, but it just has some bugs there.
Yeah, was this game originally console, or did it simultaneously launch on console and PC? Like, was it ported from one to the other?
To my knowledge, this game was initially on PC, and it was meant to be a PC game with console controls. So it probably got put to PS4 like not that much like later. But I believe that it started off on PC. I can check that for sure though, because I'm a little bit curious about that myself.
Because I know like no, I got too off topic. With some games like they port to PC from console, and it's like the PC controls are half-hearted. But you're saying they actually plan this from the get-go to be for controller use.
Yes. Yeah, that was the part that really surprised me, is when I tried like a very reputable controller. It's a PlayStation controller. It's kind of hard to mess that one up. You should most likely have that sort of like information on stock. And then it just didn't work. And I was like, that's strange. Okay, I'll use my janky one. And I tried that one. It has the same like PS4 kind of setup. It's just like one of those blocky controllers, and it feels bad. Yeah. And I tried that and it worked fine. So I don't know if it's maybe my controller or if it's Discord itself. I wasn't sure. I was very confused about that part. But yeah. And I believe that it started, I believe Hub started on PC first, because I think it started as an early access game.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. It's from the same creators as Torchlight 1 and 2.
Okay. It's very weird these days to hear a game starting on PC and pushing the controllers. Normally the only thing I can think of is they had console in mind when they were pushing on PC. Because it's easier to launch a game on PC than it is console with all the approvals and stuff. So maybe that's what it was. They kind of intended it for console, but PC was like the test bed.
Yeah. And I mean, you see this a lot with Metroidvania specifically, where like I was even talking about Hollow Knight and Dead Cells. Hollow Knight is very like you need a controller to play it, or you're gonna have the roughest time imaginable. It is horrible experience on keyboard and mouse. That was what I tried it on initially, and I hated it. I couldn't get past like 10 minutes, and I was like, I'm done. I quit. I'm gonna refund this. And I came back to it with a controller. And I was like, this is amazing. Oh my god. And I couldn't imagine playing it otherwise. I feel like it's just part of that genre itself, where it's just like you need that type of control. I don't know for certain. It might just be like they probably did want to like move it to console ASAP, which is a realistic, like I can understand that for sure. It definitely feels like it should be a console game. I don't have a problem with that.
Right.
But yeah, I can see that though. I can see the idea of like, I want to make this on console, but it's easier to just create it, and then you don't necessarily have to port it. You could just create it on PC, see how it goes. You could have it with controls in mind of console. That's not a problem. Most people have controllers. And yeah. So, yeah, I do agree with that. That's most likely the reason.
Cool. Anything else that you guys want to talk about with Hop? Anything at all?
I think I'm relatively good. It's definitely one of those games where you should look at it first before taking my word for it, because it's super graphically oriented. Like it's very hard to stress that, but like it's very graphically oriented. Anything I say isn't gonna really like do it super great justice, because it's a silent game. You kind of have to take it like at face value of like what I'm gonna say, because I don't know. Maybe they have another meaning to it. There's solid chance of that.
So it's not a game for the blind.
No, no, not at all. I don't think you'd get very far.
Yeah, no, it sounds like the entire thing is built around visual cues for everything you need to do.
Yes.
Although the whole time you were talking about it, I'm wondering in my head, like, so is there an actual, like, did they just make the robots say random things, or is there like an actual secret language you could learn? Like, I wonder how in depth they got with the developer.
It's very muffled and like it's basically muffled robotic jarble, and you're just all like, oh, okay. I don't know what I'd ever make out of this, but all right.
Kind of like dialogue in most Nintendo games when they do the captioning and everything's like,
yes, like exactly like that, basically. Yeah, it has like a more bassy sound to it, just to like make it, I guess, sound more menacing, because they're big robots. Like I wouldn't want to mess with one, but yeah, basically very bassy, jarbled up stuff. You can't make anything out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So do you guys want to move on here?
Sure.
So
why not?
Steam made some updates. There's 8 updates they made, mostly, as we were talking before in the pre-show conversation, mostly geared towards the Asian and Chinese markets. Some actual things targeted at China, at the Chinese market. Some changes to the Steam library, Steam PC Cafe programs and support. So not a lot of stuff that really affects American consumers. But I was kind of curious about, they said they're going to be making some changes to Steam TV, which I'm interested in mostly because of the space that we're in, but I also kind of geek out about broadcasting companies and stuff like that. And I just wanted to kind of get your guys' predictions and concerns with this. Which...
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I was say, which my prediction, and it's a concern as well, is I think Valve is going to go ahead. They're going to create this website, Steam TV. It's where they're going to say, major gaming organizations who are running tournaments for Dota and CS:GO and all the other games that we own. You're gonna have to broadcast that on our platform. You guys can't broadcast that anywhere else except on Steam TV, and that's where you're gonna have to go see the big MLG Pro, Dota 2, and CS:GO games. That's my prediction. I think that's what they. If I were Valve, I would look at like Twitch and Mixer and YouTube and be like, we can't necessarily compete with them for individuals,
right?
But we own this IP and we might be able to pull it here.
Yeah,
That's my prediction.
I could see that. I could see that being a thing.
It's kind of tough though, because like even like software companies these days, like they all kind of everyone's so big now that I feel like they kind of like want to be everywhere. I don't know if I mean they like you said, it's their properties, they have the money, but I don't know if they would actually want to limit the reach of their own titles.
Yeah,
like you know, like CS:GO. I mean that thing keeps going, right? No pun intended. It's an old game. I mean, it's an older game now, and it's still popular. And on Twitch, it has such high visibility, and it would kind of suck to take that and put it exclusive on your platform and kill it, you know?
Yeah.
And you lose the viewership, and then once you lose it and people move on because they're not watching it, you can't just be like, okay, we messed up, we're gonna put it back on Twitch now. So, like, I think they have to be really, really careful with that. At the same time, I mean, you could also go into Twitch or Mixer and literally poach top streamers. I mean, go to your Dr. Disrespects and give them a genuine like, hey, come stream here and we'll give you a revenue guarantee, you know, for whatever you're getting on your subs and your other stuff. Like, here it is. So, I mean, they could be aggressive with it. I don't know. I think it'll go however the competition goes with some of these other stores and how they react to it. Like, like Epic's got the new store that's coming out now and that kind of thing. Like, I guess that's what we have to really find out about Valve. Are they now sitting on their hands going, yeah, we've got Steam, we win? Or are they still in active competitive mode? Because I feel like with the Steam store, they haven't been. I think they've just been kind of resting. And that's why these well-funded competitors are starting to pop up everywhere, because they haven't done much with Steam. So it'll be interesting now that they've announced this. Like, you can make announcements, but like, how much follow-through is there? Whether it be taking that risk and using their own properties or going after talent or whatever that may be. So it's kind of hard to predict. I'm not, if I was betting, I don't think they're going to make the tournaments for things like CS:GO and stuff like that exclusive. At least not right off the bat.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to have some level of success before they go, okay, we can make this jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But time will tell for sure.
It does say that they're going to support all games, but I have a feeling, like I said, if I were Steam, it's like, well, my competition? I have Mixer, I have Twitch, I have YouTube. To me, it would only make sense to start, or maybe they may start making their own like exclusive stuff. Maybe their own exclusive tournaments. Maybe they pull like a Overwatch League kind of thing.
From what I've seen, for the most part, because I have seen some stuff on it, they do a lot of devlogs sort of stuff on it as well. So I don't know if it's necessarily like a thing that most people would be interested, but me personally, I am. Seeing devs, like, normally it's like playtesting of the game, or like they're just playing it and talking about like a new release or something like that. I've seen that a few times on Steam, and I think that's a really interesting way of taking it forward, because I do agree it's kind of a dangerous move to just be like, we're taking this off of Twitch, you can't do this anymore here. But like, seeing it in a unique light of just like, we're a place that likes to show off its content creators in a sense. That's pretty neat. I don't know how well that will work, because there's other places that are like, paying more than them, i.e. fucking Epic Games. But that's what I've seen for the most part in terms of this Steam TV sort of stuff. I think that's really like interesting way of taking it forward.
Yeah,
I think that'd be a cool way of doing it. I don't know. I don't entirely understand the purpose of making Steam TV. I get it to a degree, where they're just like, yes, we want to host like tournaments in here and stuff, but it's so unlikely that they'll be able to like contest against most other things, Twitch, things along those lines. It's gonna be really difficult to just be all like, no, come to Steam TV, we're better, we swear. And it's just like, I wouldn't.
I think Mixer has that problem now. I think that's Mixer's biggest challenge. Nothing wrong with the platform, other than folks are used to being on Twitch. You know, and it's hard to pull somebody streaming Fortnite from Twitch over to Mixer or any of those any of those
or Facebook, games. Right? Because you're talking about the revenue guarantee. That's what Facebook did. Facebook started poaching and sniping people from Twitch and Mixer and YouTube. And honestly, I don't know how well those streamers are doing on there. to me, the YouTube gaming streaming isn't nearly as popular, but it seems to be better than Mixer, and the YouTube streaming seems to do better with talk shows. Honestly,
Yeah.
like if we did this on YouTube, it'd probably do a little bit better. But I don't feel like going through all that trouble.
Yes, I can only imagine. It's a lot of work to jump platforms. No, I listen. When you say Facebook, like that's what my mom uses. Like, you know,
Yeah.
I just don't picture that as the platform for that kind of stuff. Like that's really. I'm surprised Facebook didn't create a different brand, like, or buy another brand, like an Oculus, or make some crazy purchase. Like, I don't know how big they are in relation to Valve or something, but like the Facebook brand itself, like I wouldn't want to be tied to that, because that just, it's an old, it just trends older and doesn't trend to the generation that, you know, likes watching people play games or likes being part of these gaming communities.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not entirely, I mean, my mom's watching the show right now. She's in her 70s. And she's an avid gamer, and she watches me every night, and she's now following your channel. So,
aw, hi, Mama Greggie.
I just want to make sure I'm not, you know, I'm not sound like I'm being, you know, age discriminatory here. But she's not in the majority of folks her age, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I just sometimes it was much money. If anything, I had a crazy prediction. It would be Microsoft buys Steam outright, and you're watching Steam, and Mixer becomes Steam TV. Because they were buying other dev houses to boost up their next Xbox, and they've got they actually have the pocketbook to be able to do that. So,
well,
I said it here first.
Yeah. Well, you know, now that you said that, you have you've given me an interesting little segue here.
Okay.
Unless you guys have anything else to say about Steam TV, real quick, but it's just too perfect of a segue. Microsoft is asking people for suggestions on how to improve gaming on Windows 10. Now, I will be the first to admit, I have no authority to speak on this particular topic. You two, I believe, both of you work in IT or work with computers and stuff like that. So you two have more authority to speak on it. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts on that. If there's anything that you would suggest to Microsoft.
Oh, Ren, I'll yield to you first, buddy. Go ahead.
Damn. Well, we actually kind of talked about this a little bit off the air. Really, I think I have to agree. Greggy was talking about before when we were talking about this off. It's not as bad as people are making it out to be. I don't think it's actually that bad at all. I've never had any issues with it whatsoever. I feel relatively fine with the way it is. I've never realistically just been like, man, I wish that this was fixed. Like, this is bugging the crap out of me. I don't know, dude. There's nothing that I've realistically just been like, I'm not a big fan of this about the Windows thing. It's Windows. It's been relatively the same. Realistically, I haven't had any times where I'm just like, I'm disappointed with my service on this. I don't know, unless if you have something, Greggy.
Well, it's tough because, like, the IT guy to me wants to go off on this long tangent about interface changes on other stuff that's not related to gaming. So I'll put that over here aside, right? Stop moving my control panel. But as far as the game, but you know what though? In all seriousness though, for like consumer level people, I mean, look, PC gamers like to tweak stuff, right? So that creates a little bit of, people get this, they're not content with the fact that things keep moving. So settings, they might change whether it matters or not. But no, I feel like a lot of it's perception, and a lot of it's just people who like to tinker with Windows. They know enough to know that things in the back end change, like window mode and borderless window mode. So there's a new rendering engine for the actual Windows, and VSync's like that big debate as to how much input lag it adds. Does it matter in a game? Well, if you're in window mode, Windows is actually applying a version of VSync, and if you dive into the Reddit wars of people arguing how fast Windows built-in VSync is versus other stuff, so I think there's a lot of really cool tech, and if you don't worry about it too much, I think Windows 10 is great. I really do think it's a perception issue, but there's a lot of good things under the hood. But I think that's where just that culture of people wanting to tinker with their machines, and look, I mean, people overclock all the time. People want to get that extra frame per second. So if you go into, Windows has a game mode that supposedly deprioritizes background processes, and that helps. But at the same time, they've got the game bar overlay where your little Xbox things pop up, and people go, "Hey, if I can get rid of that, that's 2 frames a second." So that becomes a big threat of Windows 10's got this box that's taking away frames and that kind of thing. So, if anything, if Microsoft could make one change, it would be to take all of that stuff,
all the bloatware.
Well, just like all those settings in those different areas. You know, the V-syncing of Windows, even if you can't change it and you're just showing what it's doing, and put that all in one spot. Maybe it's the little Xbox app on your machine or something, or a game center. Just somewhere simple where everyone can see everything that's there and not have to go into settings, and that game bar is in a completely different area than game mode. But so I think it's less technical and more that, you know, just make it to where folks are comfortable tinkering like they are, you say, using the NVIDIA control panel that hasn't changed much. There's all kinds of settings in there that most people don't need to touch, you know? But it's all in one spot and people understand it. I think that's what it is. It's perception and understanding more than the actual tech.
Yeah, I have to agree. I don't know. It really does come down to just like people's perceptions of it. I guess a lot of people think it's bad. I've never even realistically ran into that many people that think it's horrible. I've ran into a couple, but they're like super niche cases, and it's like I don't know what to tell you. Sorry.
Yeah, I've had like,
for
no
me,
issues.
No, and I think it's better than Windows 7. I think it performs better.
Yeah.
Oof. And Windows, and you know, gamers are still holding on to Windows 7, and they don't have certain levels of DirectX support. And I know patching is about to end, and it's like, yeah, I think people just need to kind of, you know, it's a shame because a lot of them missed the free upgrade for the system builders and stuff like that. So now they're kind of stuck. But like Warframe's dropping support for 32-bit clients and DirectX 9 and stuff. So yeah, the gaming. You know, it's always, I think you always get that resistance, but the gaming world has moved on to 10. So
The one thing I will say, because there's another story that I had shared in our Discord chat, being that Windows 7 is getting its last free security patch here shortly, as I'm really hoping that maybe we'll upgrade our computers at work. So we're not running from Windows 7, that hopefully my traffic program, I can run that on a new computer and not have to deal with it being a pill. Because there are like some days where the traffic, by the way, I'm a traffic manager for a radio station. I'm going to let you guys look that up because I don't feel like explaining it here on the podcast. At least I'm the acting traffic manager at this moment. I can't say I am the traffic manager. Anyways, it can be a pill. And it's, you know, it's an enterprise edition of Windows 7 on an old Dell business computer that, you know, every office ever had. So
top quality.
It's starting to be like, are we gonna continue having Windows 7 here? Nah, let's hope not.
Here's the thing though, because like the key word on that article is free. So depending on the size of the company you work for, they can pay. See, Microsoft's just making money off it. They can pay to continue to receive critical security updates.
Yeah.
And that's how you know Microsoft will make them, because you'll have like really large corporations that, you know, they spend a bunch of money going from XP to 7, and they'll keep paying for patches. But for us gamers, like it's a complete non option.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe you know. You know, if you guys want to have like $50K a year to give to Microsoft for updates, your gaming PC is great. But otherwise, you might want to, you know, bite the bullet and go to 10.
Yeah. So yeah, that's that, and like nothing really you guys would add or change to Windows 10.
You know, if there was, because I make the comment earlier about buying Steam. If there's one thing that Microsoft could do a little better is, and I haven't been in it in a while, so I could be eating my own words here, but the Xbox app that's built in, like they should build that out more and get the games out of the generic Windows store. Like, why am I looking at, you know, Office 365 plugins with the new expansion pack for Forza? Like, they should just get that entire experience into the Xbox app, and the Xbox app on PC should look like the console, and that just make that their Steam competitor and do it that way. Again, it's all about that, making it feel more game centric for the people who want it and the people who don't not. Because right now, like, it's the game settings, the games themselves, everything's all buried in together and in different spots, and Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, experience more than the actual technology.
Yeah, the only thing I could even think of, and it's not even realistically that big of a deal. Honestly, it's not. It's just an option, a little checkbox that I could say remove all bloatware, and I'd be happy because
There
there's
you
a
go.
whole bunch of just random ass crap that I don't want on my computer. It's not hard to get rid of. It's just I don't want to bother with it.
You gotta hunt it all down.
But I also want to keep all my stuff clean. It's like I don't care about Candy Crush. Get your app off my computer.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh man. That's all.
Awesome.
That's all.
So we have two options here. We can either talk about the Warframe story, or we can talk about the Fortnite PUBG story that Greggie shared with us.
The Fortnite PUBG story is probably more interesting, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah. So,
Definitely.
Greggie, since you brought this to our attention, we'll let you explain it.
Okay. So there was an article on Reddit, a post on Reddit, that was getting all sorts of traction for PUBG. That the rate of fire on your gun is tied directly to frame rate. And there's video comparisons and everything else where, yeah, if you have, say, 30 frames a second versus 90 frames a second, there's a significant difference in how fast your gun fires and how much damage it actually inflicts. So if you're familiar with Dr. Lupo, he's a very popular streamer and he plays Fortnite a lot. He was like, oh, well, PUBG's on the UT4 engine, so is Fortnite. I wonder if Fortnite's affected as well. And I don't know about you guys, but I always think of Fortnite as a very polished game because there's so much money in it. And he did the exact same test, and he had like one side was 30 frames a second, the other side was 300, and there was a significant difference. Now, for you and I playing it, I don't know, but for anybody even like remotely competitive, I mean, that's it. I mean, how many times have you played a game where you go, "Wow, I survived that gunfight and I have 3 health left"? Like, it's a serious issue. And he posted this on Twitter, and I'll give Epic and Fortnite, give them one like really big chunk of credit for. They do respond to their community, especially the influencer play their stuff. That got a tweeted response from Fortnite within like 5 minutes. So like, oh, well, we're gonna look into this immediately. Like that just behind the scenes, someone got called and woke up like, hey, by the way, this is a problem.
Yeah.
There's now an asterisk next to Ninja's 5,000 wins. Get a high rate of fire. But yeah, no, and it's interesting because all these game companies, they build their games off these shared game engines, and it's funny to see that from one game to another have have that same issue.
I'd be curious to see if it's in Ring.
It's not.
It's not.
It came up. I wish I had the article. I could tell you that they checked it because Ring is using it's their own engine, whatever Tencent's using.
I'll say because there are certainly moments where I felt like that would have been, and it would have been a great excuse to just be like, I don't suck. It's just my frame rate is at 30 frames. That guy's obviously doing like 300 frames, but I mean, this
Sorry, Danny. Sorry.
Now, I don't think this is the only type of game this problems has been in. I want to say that Dead by Daylight has this issue. Where you, if you have a speed hacker in Dead by Daylight, a lot of times it's because they're doing something with their frame rates. Now, Dead by Daylight has a lot of issues in terms of cheating because of it's a peer-to-peer system and not dedicated servers. So killers, because it's hosted on the killer side, if anyone who's familiar with Dead by Daylight, the game is hosted on the killer side of things. They can just go ahead and like load up 5, 10, 60, 40,000 hours of YouTube clips and then like trigger that whenever they feel like it to significantly slow the game down and fuck with everyone else's connection. But I feel like there is like a speed hack that people do in Dead by Daylight connected to the frame rates.
I know that's happened a lot too in console ports to PC by accident, where the developers uncap the frame rate and they're like, "Oh wait, this completely changed this boss battle or stuff." So wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Yeah, and I mean, the game of Doom that I love to hate, Fallout 76 had this issue, not necessarily with fire rate, but with movement. A lot of almost every Bethesda title, I even believe Oblivion had it. The movement was tied to frame rate. And so, like, if you had a very high frame rate, you could just move at the speed of light. And that's just, it completely breaks the experience.
Just sounds like something that
was
shouldn't be happening anymore, though.
exactly. It's a very rudimentary thing that most people don't have in their games for the most part. Honestly, apparently, Fortnite has it. I feel like that should have been like discovered a lot sooner. To be honest, I was very shocked when it was just all like, "Hey, look what we found! This super basic issue." Ta-da!
We're like, what, 2 years
like,
into the
what?
Battle Royale craze with the two biggest titles being Fortnite and PUBG,
Yeah.
and now, and 2 years into those games being relevant, and we're just now finding out about this issue that,
Exactly.
it's so weird.
Yeah.
And it's not like, it's not like they have to go to like some super slow motion cam to see the difference. Like this is,
Right.
Running at full speed and you see finish. Like
Yeah.
you would think like pro teams watching replays and stuff, somebody might have picked that up. Like, wow, that felt a little slow there. But I guess, you know what? They're not experiencing as much because they all have super high end hardware. They're running stuff on 1080s and 2080s and, heck with the person who you're fighting against on the Nintendo Switch who's getting 40 frames a second. But it's important for those for those games because especially Fortnite because it's got the crossplay. I mean, you can actually have PC versus Nintendo Switch, and now that's a huge disadvantage for somebody playing on console.
Yeah. That's it's just so bizarre. That's all I can say.
I genuinely was shocked when you're just all like, "Hey, look, it's fire rate bug tied to frame rate," and I was like, "What?"
By the way, I just gotta say, tell Rand, thank you, man, thank you. I was gonna say,
Oh man.
So yeah, I mean that's kind of that. Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
I believe that's it. That should be fine. I think.
Yeah, especially with all the issues we had at the beginning. It's
Yeah, I don't know what you are for time unless you guys wanted to touch on Warframe.
I'm not particularly interested. I mean, we can do a quick rundown.
I think we'll be fine. Basically, Warframe has plans to do crossplay, but it can't happen anytime soon because none of their setup is ready for it.
Yeah.
At all. Yeah. In the slightest.
Yeah. And it's a risky move.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all.
So we'll start with Ren. Ren, what do you got coming up? And where can people find you?
I'm gonna be streaming in about like 30 minutes, I believe. I'm not sure what I'm gonna be playing tonight. Yesterday I played some Rainbow Six Siege, had a blast with that. I don't know if I'll be playing that tonight. I don't plan on it, but I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll figure something out. But yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/renditions. 2 Z's because I'm dumb.
Greggie, go on ahead and plug. Where can people find you? Where can they, and what are they going to find when they get there? All that good shit.
All right. Well, I always make the joke that this is my game now, but I'm still a variety streamer. That being said, I'll actually also be playing Ring of Elysium in about 30 minutes. I stream Sunday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern to usually 1 a.m. And yeah, right now my main focus is Ring. So twitch.tv.com or twitch.tv/GamerGreggie. I've never done a promo before. And yeah, tonight we're gonna do duos with whoever's watching. So viewer duos for anyone who's interested.
twitchtv.com.
twitchtv.com. It's a new site, guys.
Coming up on my channel, well, first off, I still have a exciting announcement for D&D. It's coming, so stay tuned. Coming up on my channel, probably Thursday, Friday, I'll start up again streaming. Tomorrow, I'm going to work on the podcast, get some things taken care of, including this uploaded. If you guys like the podcast and you missed... and if you guys missed the first part of it, you guys can catch it on YouTube on tomorrow, Wednesday. We upload up to Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the other good places for podcasts the day after the show. So if you guys missed the show for any reason, go on ahead and follow us on your favorite podcatcher, whether it be Apple or Spotify or anything else. Other than that, I have nothing else. Do you guys have anything else?
Nah, I should be good.
All right.
I'm ready to play some more Ring of Elysium. I don't know about you. But thank you very, very much for having me tonight. I'm flattered to be back here.
Yes, not a problem. You are welcome anytime. All right.
Thank you so much.
So, guys, we will see you later. And have a wonderful evening, everybody. Bye.
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 You want a podcast for dialogue in a divisive time? Go ahead and check out Just Think on iTunes, Google Play, Google Podcasts, and Spotify.